Hi, I'm Sue. I'm from South London branch studio. I've been a Thermomix Advisor since November 2022. I left school in 1979 and I went straight to work for Midland Bank, and then it became HSBC, and I worked for them for many, many years. And in 1993, when I had a daughter who was 3 years old and was going to nursery while I was working still in the bank. And unfortunately, I was in a gas explosion at home. And that resulted in me being air flown to a military hospital where I received 40% burns and multiple amputation of fingers. And my purpose in life at that time was to get me back because my daughter needed her mum. And so my mum stepped in and was looking after my daughter, and I had to have multiple operations, so much so that a lot of them came from the tops of my legs. I couldn't walk. I had to have metal pins put in my fingers that then would be taken out. The military moved out of that hospital. I then went to Roehampton, had surgery there. Roehampton was shut down. I think, am I shutting hospitals here or what's going on? And then I went to Chelsea and Westminster. And while I was at Chelsea and Westminster, unfortunately, the Bali bombings had happened. And a lady that was having surgery there lost her husband. And she set up a burns charity called Dan's Fund for Burns. And I went to the very first meeting and we became friends. And from that, I've been with that charity ever since. And I became an online support moderator for the charity. Then I did an online course with a psychiatrist to also become a befriender for the charity, where you give a one-to-one support to other burn survivors. And that took a large part of me helping other burns patients. I then had my son 17 years later after having my daughter, and he then became a purpose for me because my daughter had left home and had finished college and everything, and I was here, there and everywhere all over the country with him with football because he was a goalkeeper. He was at Fulham Goalkeeper Academy, he was at Croydon District Goalkeeper, and then all of a sudden one day he came home and he was like, I'm giving up football. I was like, what? But you do it 7 days a week. So, he was like, no, I'm going to join the army. I was like, okay, if that's what you want to do, no problem. He said, I'm going to join Army Cadets. He did that, did his GCSEs, then went to Military Preparation Training College, and then he went to Harrogate to do his Phase 1 training. Then he went to Larkhill to do his Phase 2. And then because he's joined the army, it was just me at home because I was a single parent. And I had no purpose, basically, because both my kids had flown the nest, and I was just sat at home and I would be sort of like doing artwork and things like that just to fill my time because I had nothing to do because I was medically retired from the bank many years ago. And then suddenly the phone rang one day, and it was somebody that I'd known for about 25 years, and it was the branch manager from South London, Josie Wilkins. And she said to me, Sue, I know you love cooking. Come and see me. I'm the branch manager at Thermomix. And I was like, okay. So she said, Clapham Junction. I'll WhatsApp you the address. Come see me. So I went to the studio and she did me a demo. And I was like, wow, where has this been all my life? You know, I was just blown away by it because I'd struggled greatly for many years to do a lot of things when it came to cooking. Because of my hands, I had to have adapted knives. If I was to pick up a saucepan, if I was doing potatoes, there'd have to be a colander in that. Rather than me picking up the saucepan and taking it to the sink and draining it, there'd be a colander that I'd have to pick up and then do it that way, or scoop them out to put them on the plate. And even just grating things, grating cheese, all sorts, was a real chore. I'd never make my own sauces. I'd go to the supermarket and buy a jar of curry sauce or bolognese sauce or anything. And Josie did this demo for me, and it just blew me away. And I was like, wow. But being a single mum and being medically retired and living on a pension, I wasn't able to afford one. So Josie said, well, you can come and join us and earn it for free if you make so many sales, etc. I went, I'll try, I'll give it a go, I'll give it my best shot. And I didn't quite earn it for free. I made the 3 sales, but even that was brilliant for me because I got 80% discount on being able to buy one. And because you pay a deposit, as long as your machine goes back and it's in good working order, you get that deposit back. So in total, I paid about £80 for my Thermomix. And I was like, yes, I've got one. And I'm not giving it up. And then I thought, do you know what? I love talking about Thermomix so much. And I love cooking in it. Why not become an advisor? And that's what I did. And then I was at the studio a lot because I loved being in the studio. I loved the whole community and people that were there, the team leaders, the other people that were trying to earn it for free, the advice they could give you, the support they give you is just second to none. You walk in and you're just hugged at the minute you walk in the studio. Hi, Sue! And things that you find out even now that you didn't know that it could do. There's always tips that people give you that you think, God, I never knew that. I didn't know it could do that. Or I didn't know I could. I only found out the other day I can mash potatoes in 10 seconds. And I was like, where has this been all my life? Because me mashing potatoes even was a massive struggle. If anything, there was so many things I would actively avoid doing, like kneading bread. I wouldn't make bread. Now, I make my own tiger rolls, milk bread, Portuguese bread. I'm known as the biscotti queen at the studio, and I just love it and everything about it. And basically everyone needs one. They do. Every single person needs one because it's changed my life completely. But also, since I've been a Thermomix Advisor, it's given me a purpose because I was just sat at home. I wasn't doing anything because my son and my daughter had left, other than sort of like helping at the toddler group at the local church and stuff like that. To me, I didn't have a purpose, but Thermomix has given me that purpose. And I love it, I do. The Thermomix community to me, not only the people that are at the branch, but the customers that I've got, I keep in touch with them all the time. And they keep in touch with me. And I get phone calls off them about how much they love it and what they're doing. And they even on their social media will put, we cook this tonight, and they'll tag me in it. And then I can put it on my social media also. But we have such a huge diversity at South London Studio, meeting other cultures that I would not have met just being stuck at home has been brilliant as well. And all these different foods that we have at the branch that people cook and bring in to share, that there's recipes that I would never even thought of ever trying or even knew existed, that they bring to the studio that we all share together. And I love that as well. And if I'm doing a sort of like Dan's Fun for Burns moderator online support and a customer wants a demo, I can ask my team leader or somebody else at the studio, would you mind stepping in and doing it for me? Because I can't get to the studio that evening that they'd like it, or I can't get to them or them come to me because I'm now online supporting other burn survivors. And they're more than happy to step in and do that for me anytime. And I love them for that as well. Since receiving my burns and having multiple amputation of fingers and being introduced to Thermomix, it has totally and utterly changed my life when it comes to cooking, everything I do, because no matter where I am, even if I'm sat on a train and I happen to hear somebody saying, oh, what are we going to have for dinner tonight? Shall we have a takeaway? I'll even bring it up with them. I'll be like, no, why not make it yourself? Do you know you can actually make your own pizza dough if you had a Thermomix? You can make your own pesto in no time at all, and things like that. And where I've even got my family involved, they go to the supermarket and they talk about it all the time to other people as well. And they love it as much as I do. Mostly when I talk about Thermomix to other people, it's, I've not heard of it, but what's that then? And that opens the door for me to go, well, actually, it's this great device that can change your life the way it has mine. And it is amazing. And let me, possibly, maybe I can do a demo for you. And I think now that Thermomix has brought in online demos, it's opened up more to us as advisors, because I don't drive. So for me to go to a customer and take my Thermomix with me is a lot more difficult, because with having multiple amputation of fingers and carrying it and stuff is a lot more difficult for me. But doing online demos now has opened up a whole new world.